You hear that,
So,
Mathis? You piece of shit. Yeah. How you feel about that? What are you gonna do? This is pre-recorded. You can't do a thing. Okay.
I really hope he doesn't post that.
It's just, I'm not gonna tell him. I'm just gonna give him the raw file. Here's the video.
Oh, Jesus, that'd be really bad. Oh, that's funny. All right, so when it picks up, we're going to pick up with your character waking up after a long night of spending the night out with his friends. So you wake up the next morning. As you gain consciousness, you are immediately greeted with a pounding headache and a sickening feeling in your stomach. It's immediate that you realize that you're just hungover. Oh man, it is. You're feeling the pain right now. Kind of the night that you experience is a bit of a blur at the moment. It was, things start coming to you, and you start remembering. Oh, that's right. I met up with some friends because I was traveling through here, and drinking just went. Oh, and Kyle showed up. Kyle, an old friend of yours. You hadn't seen this guy in years, and I mean, as you start kind of pushing yourself up off of, you didn't even make it to your bed. You're flopped on the floor next to it. You go over and you start to do your morning routine of, splashing some water in your face and getting some clothes on so you can find your way to some food. And, it's you have this moment of self-realization where you're like, it seems as though this state that you're in right now has become more and more often lately. It's almost like this hangover has become your reliable friend nearly every morning. But that's fine. It's nothing that you think about for too long. It's time to work past this hangover. So as you finish
You're
getting
still
yourself
working past it.
as you make your way downstairs to find some food or whatever it is, allowing the thoughts and the headache to pass a little bit and pulling your thoughts together, you remember exactly what happened. Like I said, you were hanging out with friends and you were drinking, when all of a sudden you noticed this friend of yours, Kyle, that you hadn't seen in years, and you were excited to see him. Oh my God, Kyle, where have you been? He went off to, you remember from your childhood, he joined a Bardic college all these years ago. Why was it that you how was it that you knew Kyle?
Well, Kyle and I, we've been friends for as long as I can remember. Back when we were just kids, I remember attending the festival of our time, and Kyle and I, we sat far in the back, way up on the high chairs so that we could see everything. And we saw him. Glorimus, the best bard the land had ever seen. And it was that day, with Kyle, that I decided I wanted to be a bard too.
So it was through this inspirational music, whatever performance that you had seen. I mean, what was it that he was known for?
Oh, Glorimus, he did it all. He had the lute, the drums, the piano. There was an instrument that I didn't even recognize that he was playing, and he was playing it beautifully.
Wow. It's amazing. So you and him had witnessed this experience, and this inspired you to become a bard, and I believe it actually inspired Kyle as well. And so as the time went on, and the two of you fancied yourselves becoming bards, eventually Kyle, whose parents had a little bit more money than yours, able to scrape together the coin to send him off to an actual bardic college far, far to the west. The name of the college eludes you. It's not one that is from your area. But you know that he went off to some college far to the west and far to the north of where you are. The lands he must have explored, you can only imagine. But here he is, a decade, who knows, later. Here he is, and you're seeing him. You guys almost instantly united. You were excited, telling stories, sharing drinks, so on and so forth. But then, oh man, and you're, as of now, getting food served to you. You're trying to wolf down what you can to absorb that pit that's growing in your stomach, and along with the hair of the dog that bit you, you have a little bit of water or whatever to pull yourself together. You start remembering the night kind of took a turn for the worst. As a matter of fact, Kyle, while happy to see you at first, he more relished the attention that he was getting from telling his stories. And the attention he was getting for how his stories were more impressive than your stories. And he started drawing these lines between you two and just how he was just better than you through experience, through education. As a matter of fact, he just started insulting you outright. And it got to a point where you just drank out of anger, out of spite, like, oh, yeah? And you can outdrink me? And so you try drinking and drinking and drinking, but civil fact of the matter is, Kyle's bigger than you. He's actually a large and stocky halfling, and he's in really good shape. Clearly he's been traveling for a long while, and he did outdrink you, and oh man, the night did not end very well. And so now you are sitting here hungover, angry at the insults that he had tossed to you.
Otto is just, upon realizing and remembering all of the not only physical ailments that befell him, but also the psychological ones, really tough to grasp, and begins looking around the room again. What do I see?
Looking around the room, you see, too many memories coming to you in those little waves of nausea. As you see over there, oh, that's where we did that drinking game. And oh, that's where I started the song that he took over. And the room has, this tavern has a rather nice stage for you to hop up on and give a nice performance. Right now, though, it's kind of quiet. None of your friends from the night before here, they actually live in this city, or at least on the outskirts of it. So they're not spending the night and waking up around here. And Kyle, of course, he didn't slum in this tavern. He happened to hear a song as he walked by, and so popped his head in. He's staying at the really nice inn down the road. You know, the one that's too expensive.
Sure, and I know that, right?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, of course. He had to rub it in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it goes without saying. So as you look around the room, you see the nice stage, you see the nice bar. This place isn't a dive, but the way he talked about it last night, you would think it was. So as you're sitting there and kind of recovering from your hangover, maybe an hour's time passing since you had woken, and you're really starting to pull yourself together, you just can't stop thinking about the way that he had insulted you, and so upset were you that he'd smear your name. You had thoughts of doing the same. He flung many insults with the venom he spouts. He even coaxed your friends to doubt. The fool dared to say you weren't worthy as he to touch his lute, nay, his ukulele. So with a prayer to Timora, the Lady Luck, you set off to dethrone that cuck. A battle of wit, of word, of rhyme, or a ukulele this time.
Let's see. The battle of rhyme. I am better at than he?
I don't know. We could wait and see.
Hey. Cheers.
So, the biggest insult that he tossed your way was that when you had asked to even see his instrument, his lute, he just was like, no, I don't want you to tarnish it. You might scratch it, you know? Mm-hmm. And it became like, oh, come on. And it really was like, no, just don't touch it.
Yeah.
And the biggest insult that he had tossed your way was, in fact, that you weren't even worthy, like, as things escalated, you weren't even worthy to touch his ukulele. You know, such a simple instrument compared to the lute, in his eyes, at least, from where he was brought up.
A fool's instrument, I believe, is what he called it.
Yeah, that's exactly that. So, what are your plans tonight, Otto? What is it that you intend to do?
Otto is just sitting there grumbling to himself, musing over particular things that Kyle had made him quite upset about. Calling this place a dive and stay here dozens of times. It's a nice place. Otto decides right then and there that no, he's not gonna let this pass. Kyle, he needs somebody to bring him back down to earth. I don't think he's been told no in a while. It's time for Kyle. You know what? I had a rhyme there, but I lost it. Anyway, let's go get him.
All right, so I imagine that Otto spends the rest of his day kind of gathering his thoughts and pulling out parchments of paper and scribbling and scribbling.
I'm going to be prepared this time. He's not going to catch me off guard.
Oh, absolutely not. But the question is exactly what is the contest that you want to do with Kyle this evening? Do you want to engage him in a battle of rhyme or wit, or do you want to just take him up on his exact on the exact insult that he tossed your way?
You know,
That you weren't even worthy of his ukulele.
you're right. I think the only way to prove to him that I'm not only worthy, but perhaps even better, is to beat him at his own game.
Beat him at his own game. Oh man. So you're telling me that what you want to do is go against him with the ukulele?
I think so.
Is that Oh, I haven't heard this in a long time. Battle of the Banjos. All right.
That's
So
good. That's good.
Yep. So flashing forward to that night, you guys are you were able to meet up with him in the tavern. So you send out word to your friends, no, come back. We have another, I'm leaving tomorrow. So we need to have one more hurrah before I hit the road. And all your friends are actually pretty excited to come back and see you one more time. Of course, Kyle, he's like, oh, I don't know. I have, places to go, things to do, people to see. But with a little bit of coaxing, you're able to convince him to come your way. Now, my question is, how is it that you coax him? Do you flatter him? Do you try to coerce him with honey? Or do you throw a couple stingers?
Yeah, I think, I'm able to go and talk to him face to face, brother to brother, right? I think we can be reasonable enough to put aside our past differences the night before and have another cordial conversation, right?
Awesome. So you go and approach Kyle at his establishment where he's staying.
Absolutely.
And when you send somebody up to go get him, because you're not a patron there, you can't go up yourself.
Oh, sure.
When you send somebody to get him, he comes down the stairs and kind of does one of those stops halfway, like at the mid landing on the way down, and looks down and goes, and look who decided to come back for some more. Good morning, Addo.
Good morning, Kyle. Lovely to see you. How is this place? I've heard wonderful things.
Oh, I mean, the poultry tends to be a bit dry, but what do you expect this far into the forgotten areas of the realms? And then he starts making his way down the stairs.
Well, it does take a turkey to know the right kind of turkey, doesn't it?
Ha! Oh, so witty you are. What is it that I can help you with? Because I am rather busy.
It's just the darndest thing. I recall you issuing a challenge to me last night, don't you?
Oh, I mean, many things were said over wine and whiskey and...
No. There was a particular one, a very particular thing. You were very adamant about it
Addo,
seems.
I think you might want to just, last night we should just forget that. Don't you think?
No, absolutely not. A memory with my best friend. I hadn't seen you in forever. I will cherish that night until I die. But there was the remnant that I just can't get out of my mind. Now, I realize you must be incredibly busy, but couldn't you just pardon me one more night among friends, one last cheerful hurrah, and then you can be on your way?
Very well. I'm assuming you're gathering the group?
Oh, I believe I already have.
Oh. Last to be asked?
Only politely.
Very well. Tomorrow, at your establishment?
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to seeing you then.
As am I.
And he, with a kind smile and a handshake, he walks back up the stairs.
Terrific.
So we flash forward to the rest of the day where Kyle's hangover is finally completely gone, and he's done all of his preparations, and you are there with your friends. Now everybody's drinking and laughing and having a good time. You of course laughing and telling jokes and holding the attention, which is a wonderful thing. It's actually bolstering up your feelings at the moment. As a matter of fact, why don't you roll me a performance to see how it goes?
Well, of course.
1. Hey,
All right.
not bad. Yeah. So it's actually bolstering up your how you feel about the situation. It's bolstering you to know that you're going to do well.
Sure is.
He's running a bit late though, and it starts to give you a little bit of doubt that he's running late. But as you're starting to get really aggravated that he's just not even going to show, finally the door opens and he walks in and looks around as though he's looking for the group, even though it's the largest and loudest and most obvious group there. And after a few moments of looking around, he's like, "Oh, there you are," and like gestures in that way, and then makes his way over to you.
So I'm up on the stage, of course.
Okay, absolutely.
I shout out to him from across the bar. A timely and dramatic entrance as always, Kyle.
He says, "I think I'll leave the melodrama to you, my friends," as he unclips and flicks around his cloak in a ridiculous way. And rests it on the table in front of a few of your friends, obnoxiously. Mm-hmm. And after walking around and giving like a half-hearted hellos to everybody there, but with a kind and genuine smile, or at least as far as anyone can see, he goes and hops himself up onto the stage and says, "And I assume this evening was for one purpose and one purpose alone, to drink some more and forget the past."
Right you are, my friend. Cheers to that.
He reaches out, someone hands him a cup, and he clasps it with yours, and he throws the drink back, a little bit spilling on him as he does it in joyful fashion. And both of you guys, as you kind of like give him that glance, like that look as you're drinking, you realize he's not, and so you're going, and then both of you just kind of like chug to finish your cup. And you could feel like the tension really setting in. So he says, "Well, why don't we just fiddle for a while to get our hands warm, to warm up a bit?"
I see no harm in that.
And so the two of you kind of, with whatever instrument you're most comfortable with, Adam's most comfortable with, guys just do a performance together in a friendly fashion. And so what is it you'd like to use?
I'll go ahead and lend my piano talents to the room.
So you go over. The piano here is slightly out of tune, and it's not as large and impressive as you'd like, but that's okay. You've used it before. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go over and use the piano, and he's going to use his Wow, totally blank for a second there. He's actually going to bust out his ukulele in a taunting fashion. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I forgot the word ukulele for a moment. All right, go ahead.
Yep. Oh wow.
I'm totally typing that in the wrong area.
I don't know if we're capturing this, by the way. So I rolled a 7. For those
oh yeah, that's right. So earlier you rolled a 16 performance in total, which is amazing, and this time the piano you rolled a 7.
Yes.
But that's okay. His ukulele was even more out of tune than that. I rolled a total of a 5.
Luckily, everyone's too drunk to care, right?
So while you're kind of sitting there and like hating yourself as that thing's in order, you kind of look over and you see he's playing this ukulele horribly, so bad. This thing must be so out of tune right now. And you're thinking to yourself, that mother... He put his ukulele out of tune on purpose. And so as the people are like not very entertained, he's like, "Oh, come on, I'm sure you could do better than that," quickly tossing the blame your way. "Perhaps we should try another song, maybe one you're more familiar with. What's that one that your grandmother used to always sing?"
"Oh, you know the one. Don't pretend you don't. Let's start it up."
And so you guys, again...
Oh, no, come on. Okay, I rolled an 8.
And whether if he tuned it a little bit or if he's just playing around it being out of tune a little bit better, he actually does significantly better. Again, a total of a 15 gets you a total of an 8. And his confidence is bolstered. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I've got this, no problem." Whereas you're sitting there like, "You stupid piano. Oh, I should have fixed this last night." And seeing the fact that you're getting a little aggravated, and he's actually you roll me deception to try to disguise it as much as possible. But seeing the fact that you're a little aggravated, oh wow,
yeah, there we go, 16.
You got a 16 total, yeah. So he sees a slight aggravation on you, but he's going to kind of take that and run with it, and at this point he's going to be like, can you remind me what were the parameters of this challenge that you dare to take?
Oh, the challenge. Oh, my. The way you came in, I thought we were all about merriment tonight. But if it's a challenge you seek, well, my friend, I am willing to accommodate. This piano here, this was merely a child's toy, a fun start to a merry evening. But the lute is my passion.
Yeah, but I see that there's only one lute at hand, and it happens to be mine.
Sir, I propose a wager.
And with this, everybody kind of like silences a bit, especially like the loudest group there, your friends, and the attention kind of goes to you guys. There's still background noise, but it's much quieter now. And he says, and you can almost see like a little concern. First time you see like real like emotion beyond the face that he puts up, and he says, "What wagers? What do you propose?"
Last night you had a few choice words for what you considered to be my level of competence in the artistry of the lute. Now, it's been a while since we've made each other's acquaintance, I'll give you that, but I would think you would remember, of all people, my passion. Now, okay, sorry, hold on, I'm gonna pause for a second here. I can't, the messages in Skype, they'll actually alter the capture of the video. So, yeah, sorry, you didn't know that, so obviously, couldn't be helped, but just for future reference, we can't send messages through there anymore. But you can send them in Roll20 and I can see them over there.
Oh, okay. Oops. I don't know why I didn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Okay, where should I pick up? I was saying... I totally
It was about the wager.
Uh-huh.
So why don't you start at the beginning of the wager? When I was like, what is it that you wager exactly, that whole thing?
Okay. Hey, Mathis.
Hey!
Just make sure, hey, cut this out! Don't leave this in!
Okay, times 3.
All right. Last night, you had a few choice words for me about my levels of competence in the artistry of the lute. Now, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt in that it has been a while since we've been together, made each other's company, but I would think you, of all people, Kyle, would know of my passion for this instrument. So tonight, what do you say we put it all on the line? You have such a magnificent instrument here, it couldn't possibly be interpreted to be a mistake of the device, but merely a mistake of the artist to be on display tonight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I do agree. Yeah, all right. I do agree.
Wonderful. Would you like to go first?
Oh, sure. I will entertain the audience with an amazing performance before you follow up with a nice folksy song to end the evening. Sounds like a wonderful idea.
That sounds like a wonderful idea to me as well. Audience, what do you think about that idea?
All of your friends who saw how much of a douche this guy was last night. Now, granted, they were genuinely enjoying themselves and having a great time watching and laughing along at your expense and whatnot. But to them, it was fun. It wasn't until the very end of the night, and then definitely today, that they realized, oh, this isn't fun for him. And so they're actually genuinely happy that you have an opportunity here to, I suppose, prove your salt. So he pulls out that actual lute, and he spends a moment tuning it and making sure that it's good, and then begins to strum. He starts to play a song. It's a song that starts off very quiet and slow at first. It's actually one that you've never heard before, and he kind of as he's looking down, every once in a while looking around at the others and casts a look at you. He knows that look that, oh, you've never heard this one. And with that, you can actually catch a little wry smile, like, oh, I got him now. And he starts playing the song, and then right as you're kind of like starting to catch the melody, catch the way it works, you know, you're an experienced songwriter and instrumentalist. Right as you're starting to catch it, all of a sudden it takes this big change, while still obviously being the same song, a big change in the way the melody goes and the flow of it, and he starts singing at the same time, but he's actually singing in Elven. So you only know a couple of words in Elvish, in Elven, so you could pick up a few words here and there, enough to know that it's a sad song, a very long, slow, and dreary song that's telling whatever story it is, lost love, you know, ancient war, whatever it may be. You can tell that he's bringing an ode, like some epic story to the battle here. You know, he's really not playing around. And so he plays that song, and it goes on for nearly an hour.
Oh, no.
And that's appropriate. And he does extremely well. He actually rolls a total of 20 playing this song. He moves everybody in the place. He moves them all. And
even
so,
Otto can't help but have just a single tear brought to his eye.
Absolutely. I mean, he has to appreciate the artwork.
Absolutely.
If he doesn't the artist, right?
Yeah.
So when it's finally done, and he stops, it's very dramatic, pause at the end, where he just holds still after the last note is strung. And he just sits there and lets it hold for nearly a minute as it gets quieter and quieter. Even after it can't be heard anymore, he just holds still. And then finally he kind of like comes to, and people, amazing. It's just people are moved. Now, this isn't like big cheers. Everybody's just so moved. People are wiping their eyes and little claps. And this is, for the audience that you see here, it's almost like culture was brought to them.
Yeah. My competition is a cultural revolution. Oh, boy. All right. Well, Otto takes the stage then, doesn't he?
Now, when Otto takes the stage, he does look across the group of people. Now, where he is, the people here, they're predominantly halflings, because he's still in his lands, though far from his home. He's still in the lands where he was born. He's just traveled far north from where he was actually born. And he looks around and he sees that the halflings, which are merry folk, are genuinely upset right now. They're really sad. They enjoyed the song, but it put a heavy weight on their hearts. Mm-hmm. And he sees a few others in the room too. So it's, again, almost all halfling, a couple of humans, and kind of like weighs up the audience. What kind of song is it that Otto decides to play?
I think Otto picks one of the best songs he ever heard Gloriam play, and that was a tune that actually started out sort of somber, but then ends with a cheerful and hopeful feeling.
Nice. So, I'm sorry. I think I've been saying it wrong for all this time. Is it Addo or Otto?
I'm actually, I like both. I think I might switch from time to time, to be honest.
All right, good.
Addo and Otto, it's easy to get them mixed up.
Oh, that's good. All right, so Addo starts up his song from Gloriam, and well, I suppose I have to say, good sir, good luck.
Yeah, no kidding.
May Timora smile upon you. Oh my God, that's amazing! Oh my God. Now, I actually forgot to ask you: did you or did you not intend to use inspiration on this roll?
Well, I mean,
it's something you had mentioned beforehand. I just didn't remember if you actually.
I think this would be the time to do it. So I believe I would be rolling with inspiration. Having heard the song prior to mine, I think it's probably my only choice. So should I go ahead and go again?
Yeah. So for because I know you can't see it. Far it's rolled a 20. Dead even.
Yeah.
So if he rolls inspiration now, he has a chance to beat it.
Yep.
So
Here we
man,
go.
25% chance.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me! I wish I could capture this easily, but it's two 20s.
Two 20s. Exactly 220s.
Oh
That's
my
amazing.
God.
Okay. Wow. All right. So playing the ukulele that he has in hands that was handed to him by by
Kyle.
my apologies, Kyle.
Yeah.
He starts playing the song, and this song is runs on for again about an hour, a little less than that, from Galarium. And the song, as you said, starts off somber, and so it's a continuation of the mood that everybody's in. And while while it would have been nice to play a cheerful song, that would have been very jarring. This is a way to kind of like play off the mood they are and coax them out of the somberness and slowly elevate them into, being happier and happier. And by the end of the song, the last couple of minutes of it, last 2-3 minutes or so, you have people so elevated with their happiness that a few of them are actually dancing inside the room. A couple of the ladies jump up and grab a gent to go dance with them, and it's not like it's graceful dancing, but they're having fun. And a few glasses are raised at the ends, and people are cheering and woo! And you literally saw the room go from a happy room to a depressed room, back to being happy again, and almost as though the night was saved. And it's one of those things where both performances were just so amazing that you can see that in his eyes, he's thinking rematch. But before he even gets the opportunity to say such a thing, the bartender himself comes forward and is like, oh, okay. It seems as though we've had a battle here. Or not a battle, but we've had them go against each other. There's only one way for us to decide who won this match. That's for you people to decide. So, for those that are in favor of Kyle, with hoots and hollers and yays, you make sure you give a scream. Those for Kyle. And a bunch of people start screaming and hollering for him and happy because it was a very moving song. And then he's like, and then Addo, who is it that is in favor of Addo? And the whole place erupts. I mean, even though the songs were, I suppose, played to be similar quality, you played the mood better, and you put them in such a great mood. They're just like screaming and happy with cheer, and it's a very obvious and resounding success. And you could just see the crossed look on Kyle's face as he sees this happening, and as he turns to you with, you don't believe it's in a way that he doesn't believe the crowd can see him. He says, did you pay them? Like in this like snide and condescending way.
Mm-hmm. Otto just smiles. Only in happiness.
He's like holding his lute because never really put it down all time. He's holding his lute and he's looking at you, and you're like a couple steps away from him, and he's just kind of like, what does Addo do?
Otto, well, the wager was said, wasn't it?
Hmm?
So Otto says that to Kyle.
It was. Wager was set. And he holds it forward for you to take.
Otto puts a hand on it, pushes it back into his chest. Keep studying. Then he leaves.
So as he says that, the indignant look on his face, as Addo goes to leave, he's pissed. And so he actually takes the thing and hurls it across the room.
Oh.
So at Addo even. So he actually hurls it across the room. 1 second. And he hurls it across the room, and he misses Addo, and it actually smacks into the wall near him as he's walking by. And it's not like it shatters or anything like that, but it does smack into the wall across the way, and he says, "It's your earnings. You keep them. I have more important places to be." And with that, he storms out of the room, all composure lost. He is storming out of the place, just pissed. And then as he storms past you, kind of like bumping shoulder into yours as he goes, scooping up his cloak as he goes by, he slams the door behind him, and there you stand. I suppose semi-shocked, but not really that much.
No.
With a hurled loot by your feet.
Pick it up. This might be valuable. I'll put it
There's
in
a
my
few,
bag.
there's a few scratches, a few dents in it, but I mean, the thing wasn't really cracked. You give it a quick inspection. There's no cracks or anything on it.
Yeah.
Probably just needs to be retuned. You put it back in your bag, and before you can do anything else, you're surrounded by all of your friends who they only met Kyle last night. They're your friends, and they are in a great mood. They scoop you up and hoist you over, cheering and happy, and the night just goes on with drinking and cheering and happy with song and dance, and it's just this heartwarming feeling. And the next thing you know, you kind of blink awake and this pounding headache and this sickening feeling in your stomach as an old friend of yours comes by for another visit. All right.
That's good.
Thank you. Thank you, Bear.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That was great.